I'm Brenda Schivito, and welcome to You Are Not Alone, the place for news, tips, and stories of hope for people battling the disease of addiction. As I was thinking about a topic to address for this show, it didn't take long before I realized that proper medication disposal is an extremely important topic for discussion. Let me explain why. You see, my family recently experienced the passing of both our parents within 150 days of each other. We were devastated at losing two parents so close together. My sister and I knew that beyond our grief, we had a big job ahead of us. We had the task of cleaning out their house. It was full of stuff that they accumulated over the years. We had discovered two medicine cabinets loaded with expired or unused prescriptions and over-the-counter medications, along with a host of the typical items we might find in our own medicine cabinets. I was then appointed the task of getting rid of two kitchen trash bags full of these items. So what do I do with them? Flush them down the toilet? Mindlessly toss them into the trash and forget about them, only to have them deposited in our landfills? Well, I know that neither one of these answers are correct. But before I introduce my guest for today, take a look at this important announcement from the Chester County Department of Alcohol and Drug Services.
Last year, we collected 10,000 pounds of excess medication in Chester County alone. That's 10,000 pounds of drugs that didn't fall into the wrong hands, including prescription painkillers, a contributor to the opioid epidemic. You can be part of the solution. Dispose of unused medication at one of the prescription drug drop boxes located throughout Chester County, and lock up your prescriptions. If you are concerned about yourself or a loved one, get help today.
So to help us understand more clearly proper medication disposal, I couldn't think of a better person to join me than Kaitlyn Genthert-Siolek. Kaitlyn is a prevention specialist at the Chester County Department of Drug and Alcohol Services. She is also a member of the Chester County Overdose Prevention Task Force Leadership Board. In these roles, Kate does community outreach and trainings to increase education and awareness on various topics related to alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs. And I couldn't be more happy than to welcome you to the show, Kate. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Brenda. I'm so happy to be here.
This is exciting. This is good stuff we're going to talk about. So let's start with about the dangers of items and things that are in our medicine cabinets. Give us a little review of those dangers.
Sure. So in our medicine cabinets, we might find over-the-counter medications like common cold medications. We might find various vitamins, and we also might find prescription drugs, whether that be an antibiotic, something that is prescribed for pain relief, such as an opioid.
Right. Okay.
Some of these medications can potentially be addictive.
Such as? For instance,
we have the opioids, so we have the Vicodin,
Oxy.
We have the Oxycontin, we have Percocet.
Right.
These are commonly prescribed following some sort of surgery or for some sort of pain management.
Right, right. And do you think that in our culture today, with the enormity of pharmaceuticals, there's more concern and awareness to what's going on with these medications?
Absolutely. So over, about the past 20 years, we've definitely seen an increase in various prescriptions that have been prescribed. Right. We definitely have more information now regarding opioids and the potential for an opioid use disorder to develop. We have more information on how that may develop within a person, whether that be environmental factors, family history, or other things that are going on in their lives.
Right. So in the introduction, I mentioned my experience with finding this vast amount of medications over the years that had never been disposed of, so at my parents' house. So take us through you know, the dangers of disposing them recklessly. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. So like you mentioned, oftentimes we tend to hold on to things. We save things, you know, maybe in a month, 2 months, and my ankle might flare up or my back might go out. So let me just hold on to this. And over time, we really tend to accumulate a lot of stuff,
Right.
whether that be medications or what have you.
Right.
So it's really important to know how to safely dispose of the medications. You had mentioned flushing them down the toilet.
Right.
Well,
What's
why
wrong with
don't
that?
we don't want to do that because it actually gets into the water system.
Okay.
So what was being found was trace amounts of various medications in different areas of water filtration. So we don't want to dispose that way for that reason.
Right.
And we also don't want to just throw medications out that can be potentially addictive because we don't want them to fall into the wrong hands.
Right.
We want to prevent that from happening. So a way we can safely dispose is using one of our medication disposal boxes in Chester County. We have over 25. In Delaware County, there is also medication disposal boxes as well as Montgomery County.
Okay, we'll talk about that more in a little bit. So let's go through the different, let's say, populations where, you know, like an elderly, like I said, we went into my parents' house and there they were. And it may be funny, but it's actually kind of serious to say that I found a bottle of Chloraseptic in their medicine cabinet. Now, my mother was one to not believe in expiration dates. So are you ready for this? The Chloraseptic had an expiration date of March of 1980.
Oh my gosh.
and my siblings and I, we were just like, what? And my sister said, well, it is alcohol based, but you know, to your point, you know, once medications expire, it's no longer advantageous to leave these in our medicine cabinets.
Absolutely. Once medications are expired, they are losing potency, and we just don't want to hold on to something longer than it was prescribed. So typically with a prescription, there'll be a window of time for you to take that medication, and we don't really want to step outside that because we want to adhere to the doctor's guidelines.
Right.
We want to take as prescribed for that specific prescription.
Right. And then let's talk a little bit about our youth. You know, mom has her surgery, comes home with a bottle of oxys. Maybe there's 15, maybe there's 30. And she takes a couple of days worth of these medications and no longer needs them, but again, puts them in the medicine cabinet. So let's talk about the adverse effects when it comes to her children or others that may be friends with this individual. Take us through that scenario.
Absolutely. So medications, because they're prescribed by doctors, they may be seen by our youth, our adolescents, as a safe alternative to substances like alcohol or possible illicit substances.
Right.
So it almost gives them that false, you know, sense of security that it is safe, but we know that to not be the case.
Right.
If somebody does take a prescription that's not prescribed to them,
Right.
one, it's illegal, and two, a doctor's prescribing a medication based off of that patient's history, based off of that patient's weight, that patient's height, other medications they may be on.
Right.
So it's really important that we don't take prescriptions that are not prescribed for us for those reasons.
And even somebody's child may, you know, get the idea from a friend. A friend may say, oh, hey, you got any pain pills laying around? And who knows, innocently that youth may say, oh yeah, I think my mom's got some in the cabinet. Or, you know, and turn them over to their friend, and that again could lead to another wealth of problems.
Absolutely. With opioid use disorders, we do see, you know, when someone is taking the medication recreationally, not for intended purposes,
Right.
that person can experience that sense of euphoria that sort of high feeling that a person may experience.
Right.
So that's why we really encourage parents, if they do have the prescriptions in home, to safeguard them.
And how would they do that?
So
how would they safeguard them?
We have a few options here today with us.
Okay.
We have medication safety boxes.
Okay.
They do have,
Which is this right
yep,
here. Okay.
There's 2 different versions of them. There's more coming out, I guess you could say, as there's an increase in awareness and education.
Oh, great.
Both do the same purpose, but they have a key code on them.
Okay, like a combination lock. Okay.
Yep. So both have them. They are plastic, and some people say, well, somebody could just take this whole thing, or somebody could try to break it. Well, we say this is meant to be a deterrent.
Right.
So you're more likely to notice that this is gone, this has been tampered with,
Sure.
than 1 or 2 pills going missing here and there.
Right. Okay. Okay. And then this one, similar in nature?
Very similar in nature. It has the code on the top there. This one you can preset your own code, whereas this one comes with a code that is preset and you can't choose your own.
Okay. Very good.
If somebody doesn't have these available, though, any means of safeguarding them. If you have a cabinet that locks, if you have a drawer that locks, we really encourage that. And if not that, then just safeguarding them in a place where you know is secure, that is not out in the open, and hopefully only you might have access to it.
Okay, and another point of interest was, you know, our housing market is on fire right now. There's a lot of houses that, from what I understand, you know, our market's going crazy with people leaving the cities and wanting to get out to the suburbs, or whatever the case may be, they're leaving. And what could you tell us about that, about open houses or about realtors taking people through the houses?
Absolutely. So we recently have done more targeted education. Back in 2016, the area district attorneys at the time, Delaware, Chester, and Montgomery County, they actually went to Suburban West Realtors Association to educate the realtors at the potential danger that might be in our medicine cabinets that someone might be selling. What they were seeing was that people were actually going to open houses and going through people's medicine cabinets. Either for themselves or potentially to sell them. Because these medications, when someone is selling them on the street, they go for a pretty high price. It's about $1 per milligram. So when we talk about a one pill, it's about $20 to $30 per pill. So what was done was they educated the realtors on the importance of educating the seller.
Great. Good
Safeguard
stuff.
the medication, get rid of it if you don't need it.
Good, that's great. And then what is this that you brought along here? Is this drug deactivation? What is that?
So this is a drug deactivation bag. So what happens is there's instructions on the back here to go along with it. Liquids or pills can be put into this bag and it deactivates the substance. You mix it with water and you can throw it in the trash.
Oh, okay.
So,
you want to put it down the drain?
Yeah.
You don't want to put it down a
No,
water
definitely
source.
not down the drain.
Oh, okay.
But what this does, it's environmentally friendly, biodegradable, so it's you know, okay for our landfills. It doesn't add that pollution to the landfills, and it's safe. So we know that the substance is deactivated and can't fall into the wrong hands.
So this is probably something like what maybe they use in the hospitals or nursing homes?
Yes.
With unused medications?
We encourage, you know, well, right now, since everybody is at home, this might be something beneficial that someone might want to look into. But prior to the pandemic and what we're experiencing right now, we would encourage you know, the older population that can't get out of the house. This is a great way to safely dispose.
Now, if people wanted to get a hold of these items, where are they available? Do they have to go on Amazon or the drugstore, CVS? Where would they get these
Great
items?
question. So we do have a supply available through our office that we can disseminate to the community. If it's within Chester County, some of our not some of our surrounding counties, all of our surrounding counties have an office just like mine in their county. Okay. So they'll be able to contact their office. Okay. But I have provided my email address, and I'm happy to connect with anyone looking for these items.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so you had mentioned earlier about maybe an elderly person who maybe can't get out. This is a great way to dispose of their medications. But let's say you have someone like me who goes in and has to get rid of these medications. What do I do with them? You know, I mean, I have 2 trash bags full. Yes. 2 trash bags full. This I don't think it's going to be too cost effective. No. Okay, so what would I do in that case where you've got a multitude, you got 2 big bags, or you have a lot of medications to dispose of? And we're not just talking medications. Yeah. What else is it that we need to dispose of safely?
So we encourage homeowners, anyone who has medications in the home, to dispose of anything that's expired or they no longer need. Right. Whether it range from a vitamin, an over-the-counter medication, to a potentially addictive medication. Okay. We encourage that because there are accidental poisonings, especially if you have young children in the home. Right. We want to ensure that they're safe and they can't mistake those items for candy. Unfortunately, they look very similar. Okay. So anything you have in your medicine cabinet, you don't need it, it's expired, get rid of it.
So where would I take it? Where am I going to go with my 2 trash bags of things that I need to dispose of safely? Where do I go?
So depending on your location, in our area, most police departments locally have a drug disposal box. Oh, okay. So you'll want to contact your local police department just to confirm their hours of operation. They are anonymous.
Oh, good.
You don't need, no questions asked when you...
No forms to fill out, or you're not going to get your face on camera and post you up. Okay.
No. Yep. So I would recommend contacting your local police department to confirm if they do have a disposal box. Okay. And then if they do, what are the hours of operation for the box?
And where I had heard that somebody had told me that you could even, some drugstores may even have you heard of that in our area? Walmart or CVS? I'm not putting a plug in, but.
The CVS and Walgreens, I believe. Okay. Some of them have had medication boxes pop up. I can't confirm that exactly where the locations are. Okay. But you might want to contact your local pharmacy as well. Yes.
Right. And sometimes there's pop-up events too. Like is there how, like sometimes, like, you know, like a shredding event, there'll be
yeah, so some local police departments or community organizations do you know, drive-by disposal events. I would recommend getting connected with your local community resources. Right. There's Communities That Care. There's various prevention organizations within our area that will have that information typically available.
Right. Yes, I know there's the mobile drop boxes. Yes. And we had it at our church not long ago. And the Sheriff's Department brought the box, and it was amazing. The box is not as big as like a library book drop-off box, but by the time church was done, I mean, we do have a big congregation, I'll give you that, but like there were people coming in with shopping bags, grocery bags, and they were dumping. That bin was full, and we couldn't have been happier, you know, that that was being handled so diligently. Absolutely. And people did respond. So what is omitted from that box? So you mentioned prescriptions, over the counter. What about like cough medicines or cough drops or ointments, let's say? So those kinds of things is specific?
You'll want to confirm with the box that you are going to what is accepted and what is not accepted. Typically, it's because it is anonymous and there's no one taking down your information.
Right.
You can drop off what you have, but you will want to confirm that with the police department.
Right. Some of them don't take syringes.
Yes.
I don't think a lot of them do.
That's a big one,
Right.
is the syringes are not
Mhm.
accepted
Right.
with a majority of the boxes that I have come in contact with.
Right.
But again, you'll just want to confirm that with the location that you're going to.
Great. That's wonderful. Is there anything that we missed? Are there any points of interest that I overlooked, or anything else that you have that you could share with us?
I would like to share that while I am in Chester County, like I had mentioned, there is a Delaware County office and a Montgomery County office, very similar to mine, which has materials, information similar to what we're sharing today. But we do have a brochure available. This is at most libraries. We really try to get this information out
Right.
to anywhere in the community. But this has all the locations. This has what's accepted at our drop boxes, what's
Right.
not accepted. So it really goes over some of the information we covered today. That can be found on the county website, chesco.org/drug and alcohol. And if anybody has questions about that, can certainly contact me.
Right. Okay. Well, this has been extremely enlightening, and I really am happy that you were able to join us today and disseminate this information, and really good stuff. Really good for awareness and education and letting people know that it's not okay to flush them, and it's not okay because of the dangers of them getting into the wrong hands. So I thank you very much for coming today. So if people wanted to get in touch with you, again, that website is?
Yep, chesco.org/drug and alcohol.
Okay, and your email address?
KGenthert@chesco.org.
Very good. Thank you so much for coming today. I appreciate us. Thank you for joining us for this important discussion. I hope you've gained more insight about the proper disposal of prescription and non-prescription medications. I'm Brenda Schivito, and remember that you are not alone in the battle against the disease of addiction. If you or a loved one need help or would like to make a donation, visit us anytime at angelsagainstaddiction.org. I believe that together we can save lives. Thank you.